Hey y'all, it's Taylor. I'm here with Hustleholic and I'm gonna tell y'all where the hustle started.
Every day I've been hustling.
Every day I've been hustling, baby.
Every day I've been hustling.
And thank you for coming through today, Taylor. I mean, how are you today?
I'm good.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
I'm tired.
You said you're tired
I
from.
went to these damn parades.
Which ones you go to?
No, I went to some parade in Houma. No, LaPorte. It was like 2.5 hours away from here.
Okay.
My cousins, I was on Snapchat. It was 4 o'clock in the morning. I seen they was loading their 4-wheelers up. I said, where the hell y'all going? He said they was going to Louisiana. So shit, I got up, took a shower. I said, I'm going too. And I did, but girl, I got fucked. I ended up driving back home though at like 2 o'clock in the morning, but that shit drained me.
Crazy.
That's the longest parade I've ever been to. The parade was like 4 hours long. Girl, but it's a small community, but it's nothing but full of white people.
How many floats was it?
Girl, I don't even know. We was in the middle.
Crazy. And I mean, in the start things off, tell us. I mean, where did the hustle start for you? Like, when would you say like yes, things started happening in your life? You know.
Hell, when I was in high school, I think I'm not like a very like artsy type of person, like how other girls they do hair and stuff like that. When I was in high school, I was charging people to write their paper. I was making resumes for them. Then like I went to college a little bit, and then I started back, and I kind of did it a little bit. I made a business out of it. But I don't really do it no more because people play with your money.
Facts. Where are you from?
I'm from Chicago.
Okay. Did you grew up there in Chicago?
Well, I grew up there on and off. Like my mom and my daddy wasn't together, so I grew up in Chicago 1 year, Mississippi the next year, Chicago the next year, and then live right before.
Yeah. How was it in the neighborhoods that you grew up in?
Here or there?
Well, we can start off with Chicago, and you know.
Well, where I lived at in Chicago, it was very iffy. I grew up in Logan Square, which isn't the South or the West. I know people automatically they be like, but it's the North Side, but it's Mexican gangland. Like, this is where the Latin kings are and stuff like that. So the area that I lived in was very, I'm not gonna say not safe for kids, but like it was so bad that when we would go to school, they would have people pick us up at our front door because we didn't ride buses, and then we would walk to school with them. They didn't always pick us up, but most days if they had the extra people or however they were. Because like, let me see. I don't know the name of these streets, so I'm not even gonna give an example.
Yeah.
Say how Biloxi and Gulfport are. Instead of saying cities, we're gonna say they streets. So like this is Biloxi, and then you just turn right here and it's Gulfport. They like purple over here, but they don't like purple on this street. Even though the street it starts right there.
Right there.
So a lot of inconveniences would happen. They didn't really mess with girls or little girls, but they love little boys and adults, like any kind of adult.
Yeah.
But they look to recruit. So if they can recruit the kids are terrified. They use them to get other kids. Or they know a kid, you tell me you're going to kill my mom and my daddy. Shit, I'm going to go rob whoever you want me to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
So, that's the kind of area.
Exactly.
But it was okay.
Yeah. I mean, but it was okay, you know. But I feel you though. I get where you're coming from, and like, how would you say, like, you know, growing up in a neighborhood like that at such a young age shaped you to be the person that you are today?
To a certain extent. See, I'm a very quiet person. But I'm quiet because I choose to be, you know? But growing up there, it does make you very aware of your surroundings, of other people. But even then, like people you think you can trust, but I kind of think this is everywhere. People you think you can trust, shit, you can't really trust their ass either. Everybody plotting, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It be the one super close to you, you know?
But it kind of made me a little bit more family oriented because, like, the people I was going to school with, they weren't always there. Even like we start school with somebody at the beginning of the year, and they not there at the end of the year. It's not because they left; it's because they got killed.
Yeah.
Or something happened to them, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, and I know that's so crazy to talk about, but you know, you just talked about, you know, losing kids you was going to school with. I mean, what was the craziest thing you ever saw happen in front of you?
One time we was walking to school, so where I live at, where I used to live at, when you come out my front door, it's like a business right next to it. And then you go past it. On the corner, there's an ice cream shop. And then there's like a little, like mom and pop type store.
Yeah.
But it always open early in the morning. Because kids in Chicago, I don't know about kids here, but kids in Chicago, they love the hot chips with the cheese and the jalapenos. They eat them at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. They don't care what time it is. So they will open very early. And they would make this bread, like homemade bread. There's bread everywhere. That's a different story. But they tried to rob him, and he shot him. The man that tried to rob him, he shot him in the head. And there was like 4 kids in the store. There was some kids on the outside. And he's like, go. Don't tell your parents. Wow. But shit, they cleaned that shit up. He was open within like 2-3 hours later.
Crazy.
It's not funny, but you know, that's reality.
Yeah, exactly.
It could be here too, though.
Exactly. But I see what you're saying, though. I see what you're saying. I mean, you ever like seen, you know, a near death or death experience like in front of you, like that? Other than that?
So, when I was 14, okay, so my mom didn't always raise me and my sister, and we lived with our papa and our nana. And this particular day, it's so weird. My papa and my nana, they got married on me and my sister's birthday, although they didn't know us yet.
Mm-hmm.
So their anniversary is me and my sister's birthday, which is July 28th.
Mm-hmm.
And this one particular day, like on all of our birthdays, they have horse shows or like a trail ride, because this is in the country.
Yeah.
So the day was going fine. My uncle came and got us, and he said that he had something for us at his house. And we went there fine. He lived down the road. This is my great uncle. But then he brought us back, and then my other uncle, this isn't my great uncle, he like, twins, come here. But my other uncle know like how he is. He like to drink a lot. So he telling us ignoring him, blah, blah, blah. But he like, twins, I'm so sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And we like, what you sorry for? You know? So, like how my nana and my papa house is set up, like we're gonna use the cup. This is a house. There's a table right here. And then my uncle ran around the table and just shot. Well, I didn't even tell you. So my papa was like right here in the middle. He, what's it called? He's shooting his horse up. So my uncle run around the table like this and just shoot him in the head, the chest, and the leg in front of all of us. So we go to him, and my uncle's like, let him go, don't touch him. But he's bleeding everywhere. So I remember going in the house. My nana met us at the door. She thought it was fireworks. Because, you know, when you shoot a gun, you see the
spark,
the flash.
Yeah.
She could only see it from the window because she wasn't out there.
Uh-huh.
So she thought she was seeing fireworks. She come to the door. She like, who the hell shooting fireworks in my yard? I was looking at her. We like, it's not fireworks. So I go to the phone. It's a small town. I call 911. It's busy.
Busy.
So my nana, this is, back in the day. It's not necessarily back in the day, but it ain't like right now.
Yeah.
So my nana go get the phone book. She like look up the sheriff department number. I'm like, bitch, not bitch, but it's not on my mind. I can't concentrate right now. You gotta flip through the phone book and look through all the pages.
Yeah.
And my papa, his friend, he like, I got it. He calling them. At this point, it might have been like 10 minutes that went by. My papa, I guess they moved him across the ground because it was blood in one spot and it was blood in another spot. Shit, they threw him in the back of the truck. I remember my nana instantly throwing up. But my nana, she a very strong woman. Well, she is now, but like that was the first time I even seen her have a reaction to anything.
To anything.
Was
this her?
It's her husband.
Her husband that got shot.
So she like freaking out. So they put him on the back of the truck. They drive him to town, where they live at town, like 15 minutes away. They call us. They like, he bled to death. So when they tell us that, I'm like, so then maybe if the ambulance would have came, or they would have put some pressure on his wounds or something, maybe he would have lived. I don't know, but
yeah.
Like after that, it's kind of like everything went downhill. Not downhill, but it changed a lot. Like it changed my nana. It changed our living situation. Like we still live there with her, but it was very weird because it's just her in that house where that happened, in her front yard. My papa gave my nana everything. This is why I believe in like old school love. I want to get married.
My grandparents been together for 47 years.
My papa and my nana, I never seen my nana work a day in her life. If she ever had a job, she gonna be confused.
I seen her have one job, girl, at the hotel, and she just was doing whatever the fuck she wanted to do. She was quitting every day, saying, "I don't need this job. My husband take care of me." So
listen,
yeah,
I'm not saying that's exactly what I want, but
yeah,
I want somebody to be so comfortable with me they okay with taking care of me.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, every day to this day, I still think about it. One time, I was in a casino and a psychic, literally, well, I'm not gonna call her a psychic. I don't know what the fuck she is, but she called me over to her. If she told you the future, then this lady, she told me the past. This lady called me over to her, and I'm like, and she touched my hand like this. She like, Taylor, I want to talk to you. I'm like, could hear anybody say that, you know? And she like, I just want to tell you a few things. And I'm like, okay. So everything she's saying, she write on a piece of paper. And she like, I want you to forgive your mom. Your mom hates you. She like, ask your mom what happened to her when she was 4, how she got this scar on her back. Mind you, my mama really do got a long ass, thick ass scar on her back. Yeah. Then she was like, I see beer and a horse. She was like, they're still here. And I'm like, you know. But my papa, he got killed over a beer. That's why him and my uncle, before he got killed, they was arguing over beer. My papa, they hung out every day. They always went to town. And he had one beer left. And before like the horse ride started, he was going to mow the grass. Which he was mowing the grass, but I guess my uncle had drunk all the other beer. And he telling him, like, don't drink the last one. I want that for when I get off the tractor. And they got into a little argument about that. But we weren't there, so I didn't know that part until, like, a few days later, you know? Yeah. And then she was like, you got 2 jobs now, but you're going to get fired from one. Which at the time, I was working at the casino, and I was working at the mall. Because I was in high school. Girl, I got fired from the mall the next day. Damn. And she called me, she was like, she didn't call me, she told me, she was like, I want you to call your grandma grandma's gonna forget you. Maybe like 2 or 3 weeks later, I went to Chicago, and when we got off the elevator, my grandma couldn't remember where her apartment was. And I thought that was very weird, because she always lived in that building her whole life, damn near. So I never went to the apartment, because I know where we're going. she didn't say nothing, but she acted like she didn't want to go in. We get inside, dishes and shit everywhere. She got pictures of kids on her refrigerator. She think they're her grandkids. She couldn't remember who I was after like being there like 10 minutes. She was calling me my cousin. Then she was asking me about my brother, but calling him another name. And I found out she had Alzheimer's. But at the time, it wasn't like obvious to me, but it was clear something was wrong. So then, this is the last thing she told me. She like, Alice says she's still here. She haven't forgotten you. And that was my Nana's sister. Even though my Nana raised me and my sister, my Auntie Alice was like my best friend. But when I was on the way to the hospital to see her in Mobile, she had died. And I didn't know. They let me get there anyway. And then waited to tell me. So, you know, I guess everything happened for a reason.
Yeah. And the psychic told you all of those things all the way up until you had tea.
And I remember Googling her name. I can't remember her name now, but I still got the piece of paper. But when I Googled her, there was people on there saying the same shit. Like, she was telling them the same real life situations about them. Okay. Now, if I probably ever see her now, I'm definitely going the other way because I don't want to know nothing else.
Crazy. That's
well,
crazy.
You know. So I guess she's a psychic. I don't know.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. That's just like so crazy. Are you religious?
For the most part, I definitely believe in God. And I know some people say they don't, but I'm one of those people. I'd rather believe and be wrong in the end than to not believe and damn sure wrong. You know? I'm one of them people, listen, I'm praying on the way to the club. One time, me and my homegirl got into it with some bitches in the club. Girl, we up in there praying in the bar.
You know, Mike go a little bit like, Lord, please don't let me have to fuck this girl up. But he understands. And I feel like this, you know, I feel like people are so serious, you know, when you talk about religion, but I was fortunate enough, and I went to college, and I literally had to take religion. The first time, I'm smart, like, you know, I just wasn't showing up. I failed the class, wasn't doing my paper, wasn't doing it, and I had to take it twice. And the second time, yes, and it was like I'm remembering everything that I'm hearing because I'm like, yeah, I'm here, I'm, you know, getting information, but what I'm getting at is I asked you that question is like there's so many different religions in the world, like people don't know it's thousands, okay, but God is still like
basic ones.
Exactly. And still out of the thousands of religions, you know, we speak about God. And I feel like if you are religious, it's because you actually had a event, a moment, you know, that made you say, okay, I know that there is a higher divine, a God, a higher power that exists and hear me right now. You know,
like, see, for me, and I'm 24, but like, how do I say this? Because I'm so young, like a lot of times when I do talk about God or I say something, some people they get to looking at you funny, you know. Not at all times, but a lot of times, people our age, they don't really understand. But I'm one of them people, when I was younger, I truly used to think God hated me. Even though I grew up in church and stuff like that, God really had to grow on me. Not necessarily that I didn't believe in him or I didn't like him. I just felt like he didn't like me. God was not fucking with me.
Yeah.
You know, but maybe he was. Just some of the stuff that had happened. But now, you know, how you pray. I've had situations where I prayed and I would just ask God for things, and you know, people always say he don't give it to you when you need it, when you want it, but he give it to you when you need it, or he's an on-time God, stuff like that. So I had a certain situation where I asked him for something, And he showed it to me 3 days later, and it was just like, you take it or you don't, you know? Because what I had prayed about, it wasn't necessarily what I wanted, but I kind of had a feeling, you know?
Yeah, I completely understand.
And he literally showed it to me. And the only reason I just know it was him, I hadn't seen it, I hadn't heard it, it wasn't nothing I thought of in a long time. And as soon as I said that prayer, it showed up to me twice.
Twice.
So, you know.
I feel you. No, that's like, I completely understand. I mean, you are pretty much, I mean, an author. You know, like, you've written a book, had it published. Can you tell us about that? Can you tell us about Text Me When You're Okay?
I have dealt with mental health a long time, like so much to the point to younger when I was in school. I think I can't remember what grade I was, but I remember my teacher name was Miss Altegod. Which you probably won't see this, but you know, if you do, I'm sorry for what I did. Girl, I had punched my damn hand through this lady window. And I had just kept telling her, I was like, I wish I would bleed to death, da 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 da. She's like, why would you say that? I was like, I'm so sad. This is a sad life. I'm a kid. So the school started making me go into therapy, and I had to take anger management classes. Although I wasn't mad, bitch. Bitch. I was just sad, you know?
Yeah. A kid going, you know, and they tagging you as angry.
So, you know, I done had my way around it. And there's been a couple of times I done been to the psych ward, did the therapy thing. I was taking the medicine. But I was one of those people, when you ask me, I'm like, I don't want to talk. Text me. Don't call me. We ain't going to talk about it in person. If we do talk about it, I'm probably going to text you. So that's why I put text me, you're okay. And it's just my perspective over like the last 4 or 5 years. Because like a lot of times when you tell people you having those problems or you dealing with that, they don't necessarily, they don't necessarily understand, but they'll be like, well, you should just pray, or you have no reason to feel like this, you have that, you doing this. I'm not one of them people. Clothes and money do not make me happy. And a lot of times people, they say money can make you happy. There's been times where I've been touched so much money and it never made me happy. Never. The stuff that I want, I'll live without for years. You know, I'm just to the point to where I can handle it, but I'm still not, you know, I'm not exactly where I want to be at.
Yeah.
But my book, I just kind of wanted it to be like a resource to other people. Like, I'm not no doctor, I ain't no therapist, you know, but so I don't want nobody saying,
yeah,
Taylor said, you know.
Yeah.
But I just want them to be able to look at it and be like, okay, somebody understand, or somebody listening, or something like that.
Has been here before,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And that's big. I feel like we need more of that.
I wish we did, especially like down here.
Mm-hmm.
I had one horrible experience. I used to have experiences where I would just wake up in the morning, I'm crying. I'm at work, I'm crying. I'm in the store, I'm crying. And a lady that used to be my teacher, she told me to go to, what's the name of it? It's the mental health place in Gulfport. It's close to Memorial. But she told me to go there, and I was calling them. I had an appointment, and I'm like, hey, this is Taylor Expos. I'm going to be like 5-10 minutes late. I was having a bad day today. But not like mental health bad, but like just bad in general.
Yeah.
This bitch said, we don't talk to kids on the phone, and hung up in my face. I called back. Bitch, I'm 18. I'm old enough. I'm trying to tell you that I'm late for my appointment because, you know, they charge you.
Mm-hmm.
So I get up there and she was talking real crazy to another lady. I'm showing on my phone. I looked at her dead in her face. I said, bitch, now what if I would have brought a gun in here and shot you because I'm having a bad day?
Exactly.
This is a mental health facility.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that even if it was someone else, it was okay, but it's schizophrenic people for him. It's people literally thinking about killing themselves within the next minute or killing somebody else. People not just suicidal, they homicidal too. And not on their own intentions, just stuff in their head, you know?
Exactly.
You do that to the wrong person,
And
they
how
come
can you
here.
even, you know, you're supposed to be in a setting where you're providing support, you know, to people like this. And that's big. So that's huge, you know, as far as actually writing a book and putting it out there, you know, just not even talking about, you know, what everybody else usually does, but talking about what we need to hear more of. Like, you know, that's definitely big. Like, I mean, what did you put that out alone, or were you signed or independent when you put your book out?
This is very much alone. I did have a couple of people that like reread it or went over it for me, but I'm gonna be honest. So the first time I put it out, I went through some publisher that was in New York. You know, whoever charged you cheapest, you like go to them. Girl, they wasn't even legit. They damn near didn't exist. They printed the books off. They gave me like 20 copies. So you open a book, like let's see, you read like 3 or 4 pages, maybe 6, 7, 8 page is blank for whatever reason. Go to the night page, you might got something all the way on the bottom of this page. It was a terrible experience, but I can talk about it now because we don't got nothing going on. But I don't want it to just sound like it was so easy.
Exactly. No, and I don't think it is, and that's why, you know, talk to us about that process. You know, you pretty much just said where the idea came from and why you created it, but now what is the process of actually getting it out now?
So you gotta reach out to publishers and you gotta see if it's something they actually want. Then they're gonna ask you, can you send it in a file? Then they want a paper copy. Then they want to know if you think it's gonna be paperback, hardcover, and then there was another one, like how the magazine is made, but they got a certain name for it. So then they're gonna take 2 to 3 weeks to get back to you. You're gonna keep calling them. You're gonna talk to their assistant 1,000 times. They're gonna send you shitty ass emails trying to like give their opinion, or they're like, oh, how about we buy this from you? And they basically
publish it,
do it how they want to do it type thing. Then, to be honest, I gotta think back. The first like 200, and I'm not gonna be honest with y'all, I ain't even sold 200, but the couple of people that did buy from me, it's not even people that I know, so I didn't expect nobody that I know. You know how that go, but I didn't make no money off of it because you still have to. Even though they print it for you and they send it to you and all this stuff, at the time it's free, but they have to make their money back. They cost of labor. So like you might make 10 cents off one book. It might not even be 10 cents. I think the first book, it was 7 cents for me actually. And I thought I was looking at the thing wrong. So I'm calling them, and you don't make no money off a damn paperback. You only make the money back if it's online. The first like 200 yeah. So if you hit more than that, then that's when you start seeing money for real. But they kind of had already told me, and by this point I'm like, okay, I kind of understand. I'm not looking to be like the New York Times bestseller anyway, but you know, it could be possible. But I remember I used to watch like these documentaries on other people that write, and they're like, I'm struggling, I got this book, but nobody doing this, nobody buying it. And in my head, I'm like, you got a whole book out. You got this, you got that. You got people coming to sign your book. They're like, shit, you got to pay all the people on the back end.
Yeah.
So you don't really see nothing.
Yeah.
Which I'm okay with, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it wasn't what I thought it would be.
Right. But you know, still growing though, you know, still doing that because,
Yeah.
you know, I'm sure you, have you how can the people find it?
Okay, so
Like, I mean, is it online? Okay. And that's it. What we can do is we can make sure we put here in the description where you can find. Text me when you're okay, or is it if you're okay?
text me when you're.
I'm sorry. Okay, I thought I was right. If you won $1 million right now, what would be the first thing you do?
What would be the first thing I would do? Let's see. That's a hard question for me because I feel like I try to stretch myself out so much that I would, like my siblings, my mom, my dad, my parents, I would try to help them. When I was younger, I watched this video on Facebook about a man that was paralyzed in England, and they did some type of nerve surgery, and they made him be able to walk. And I remember me and my sister talking about it. I'm like, this rich people shit. This for people that got millions of dollars. Listen, my mom and them might not even see it. If I had that kind of money and I could pay for my dad to be able to walk, talk, anything. I haven't heard my dad's voice since I was like, when he was accident, 2009. 2009. Yeah, no. So that would be a blessing to me, Even my mom, she would understand, but I'm sure I'll have some kind of money. My mom was very simple. My mom, even now, she get whatever she wants from me because she knows I feel obligated. And it's not even just that, but I love my mama to death. And we haven't always been like that, so to be able to be where we are now is okay. I'm a very family-oriented person. I didn't grow up with my whole family, or I didn't grow up feeling love the way I wanted to. So that's my goal for like other people, to make things better for others. And part of me too, I guess you could say. But I don't really want for like clothes and stuff like that.
And I heard you, just say that's very, special. And I could you tell us more? Like, you said that if you did win $1 million, that you would, maybe get some sort of operation for your dad. Do you mind telling us about that?
So, in 2009, I was living in Chicago, but my dad was living in Mississippi. And my dad had just called my sister. They talked. My sister told me I was in the tub and that he would call me back when I got out of the tub. So basically, we get this phone call, and they're like, hey, your dad just had an accident, da-da-da. My mama flew us out the same night. We was in New Orleans within like 3-4 hours, but because, I can't even talk. Because my daddy was in Forest General, it took us like maybe 3 or 4 hours to even get there once we got out New Orleans. But when we got there, they wouldn't allow us to see him. They told us that he was gonna die. Couldn't find out. He was on a 4-wheeler. And I can Google this now, and it pops. It's the first thing that pop up. But he was on a 4-wheeler. There was a lady walking in the middle of the street or road, and he tried to get over. He lost control of the 4-wheeler, so he threw him off. He hit a light pole. He hit his head. And he laid in a ditch for maybe about 10 minutes because he was going down the road to go home. Like, where he was at, where they had the little group at, was at my nana house and my daddy house, like right here. But he didn't come back, so they went to his house, to get him. Like, you take it too long. And they found him in the ditch. But everything wasn't immediate, and because he had a brain injury, they didn't call the ambulance. They threw him on the back of a truck. He hit his head again. And so when he got to the hospital where he was at, they call the hospital a Band-Aid station. They don't deliver babies. They don't have the traumas. So they had to airlift him to Forest General. My daddy was in a coma for 4 years. And then he just randomly woke up But now he don't talk, he don't walk, he don't do nothing. Well, I take that back. He can dap you up. You be like, daddy, dap you up. He can fist bump you. But my daddy was a bad man. He was a dangerous man. It's so many different stories I got about him. But my daddy loved us. He had other kids, but me and my sister, we were his first kids. And because he had this accident so young, he didn't really, his other kids, some of them, they were babies. So they didn't get to experience him the way we did. My daddy had a cutlass, and on the seats, it was green and white. On the seats, it said Taylor and Tyler, and the driver and passenger seat. He loved us to death. It was times when my nana told us stories about how he shot somebody's house up. He came to somebody's house, and he told her to leave. They owed him some money, so he just shot their house up. There's another time where my daddy friend told us that somebody had called us some badass kids at the field. If you from Prentice, y'all know what I'm talking about, but it's a big field. They have horse shows and stuff. And he shot the man for calling us bad kids. But my daddy, he never whooped us. Whatever we wanted, he got it for us. My mama tell us, no, he gonna go get 2 of them. That's just what kind of man he was. But when it came to other stuff, he wasn't always the best. He didn't have the best, I'm not gonna say mentality, but he chose the streets over whatever, Money was very important to him. Drugs, money, that's all he cared about. And I just feel like that was God's way trying to slow him down. Maybe one day he'll talk again, I got faith. He will, because he just woke up out of coma.
Yeah. How long has he been?
So he done been on his coma he done been paralyzed for like 15, 16 years now. So he done been on his coma maybe about 10 or 9 years. Not exactly, I could be wrong off by a year or 2, but I do know it's been a little minute.
Yeah.
But he can answer you yes or no questions with his eyes. He pinched my grandma all the time. But that's a lot on her too. I have one living grandmother, and she a cancer patient right now. She fighting breast cancer for the 2nd time. So that's a lot on her. But
Yeah. And I think things like this is what turn us into, the people who we become. And do you think these things in life also influence you to write your book?
Kind of, sort of, because sometimes at times it's all I think about, But then I also think if what wouldn't happen to my dad, I would be doing way better. Not necessarily way better, but mentally, physically, relationship-wise. Some of the shit that happened to me, I would have never, But It is what it is. My mama loved me to death, so.
Facts. I understand. Are there any other authors, any other authors that you were influenced by that, possibly influenced you to write your book, or?
Not necessarily, but this might sound childish, but I don't know if you ever read those Blue for High books when you were on.
I did.
I love those only because they seem so realistic. I do not like reading fiction. That stuff just never appealed to me. Some people might like it, but it is what it is. I do, not all the time, but I like to read scary books and stuff like that. But that should be for fun. Or I try to see how other authors write. or how they talk, and if they talking in third person,
Mm-hmm.
who they gave credits to, or who influenced them, because you know they put the front of the book and then they'll put a little note in the back sometimes, not always, just for stuff like that, but otherwise not really.
Yeah. Do you see yourself writing any new books? Anything new we should be on the lookout for?
One day, one day I hope so. Not right now, but I do have a journal of like a couple of different short stories, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just the type of stuff that just come to my mind randomly, or if I get overwhelmed, I might write like a little. If it's a piece of paper, it could be a receipt. I'm gonna write it. I'm gonna keep it, put it in my journal.
Yeah. And I mean, I wanted to ask. I mean, how would you define success?
Girl, being happy. That's my biggest goal, because I've been unhappy a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I wanna wake up. I feel like I'm about to cry.
No.
I'm not
If we
gonna
do,
cry.
we got some tissue.
I
we
wanna
can
wake
cry.
up and I wanna not worry. Not about just like money and stuff like that, but not worry about my mom wanting for something, or my mom going through this, or my sister, my brother, they going through this, you know?
Yeah.
Or even just me, I want to wake up and just be refreshed, which I am working on that.
Mm-hmm.
Not waking up with like a heavy heart and stuff, but I want to wake up and my chest don't hurt, or I don't feel anxiety or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
You know, people, we touch money, or we come into money, and people, we get to thinking that money rule everything, or money make people love us, or money give us whatever we want, you know?
Yeah.
But it don't always go that way.
Exactly.
So, just to be happy.
Exactly. What part of your life would you say, you have to work the hardest, like,
Let's see, this 2022. Girl. I remember I made a TikTok about it and I deleted it. You know when you try to follow those TikTok trends, and I'm like, nah, I don't want nobody to know me to see it. But that's when I was just dealing with like some stuff emotionally and kind of physically. My grandma had died. My mom, she had just had her, whatever the hell was wrong with her, because they don't know exactly what's wrong with her.
Yeah.
They run all these tests. They can't give us an example of diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
I was just depressed. I always thought that I was over depression, because for like 2020, 21, I didn't deal with that shit. It's like it just disappeared.
Yeah.
Or maybe I was just high. I don't know. But baby, 2022, that shit slapped me dead in the face and was like, I'm here.
Yeah.
I cried a lot. I was going through a lot. I was going through like, not self-destruction, but I was just doing shit I wasn't thinking. 2022. Oh yeah, 2022 shit. That's my second time going to jail, but
Wow.
I'm
Twice.
picking up felony charges.
Two.
Yeah.
You caught 2 felonies.
But it's so weird to me. Like when I say I believe in God wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
The first time I went to jail, I ended up getting my charge completely dismissed because the police didn't read me my rights.
Wow.
Then when they arrested me on the wrong code, whatever they call over the intercom or something. I ain't had no record. The judge was like, I'm not going through this. He looked me dead on my face. He said, I don't want to see you in my courtroom again. He ain't see
Okay.
me in his courtroom, but somebody
else saw you.
But it's a learning experience. I'm young, still young, but I tell myself all the time, when people go to jail, I don't see how they live with shit on their record for years and years. Cause it make it hard for school. I try to get back in school and make it hard for jobs. Not even jobs, but just like, even some places if you want to volunteer at, I didn't know they do background checks, but they see that shit. I just explain them. If they don't accept it, then
Yeah.
nothing I can do, you know.
Crazy.
But I just believe in faith. Reputation wise, like personally, cause I'm gonna say right now, it's a lot of people that don't like me personally. But like in the work world or the whatever you call that realm, there's people that done vouch for me that got my names in rooms I would have never thought I would have been. So sometimes, I'm not gonna say the background don't count, but it definitely does.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, 2022 was a fucking shitty year.
Wow.
But I'm not mad at it. To be honest, people ask me all the time, even people I know, just based off some of the stuff I went through, would I do it again? To be honest, I wouldn't change shit.
Yeah.
Me and you wouldn't be right here now.
Exactly.
I
It's who
wouldn't be-
made you who you are.
Exactly, because I wouldn't
Just
be
like that.
like how the way I love myself now or how I feel
Mhm.
about myself now. I don't think I would have felt this way.
Exactly. Exactly.
So,
Exactly. And you just said, you said you've been in your name, you've been in rooms with, people, places, you never would have thought. What would you say is the craziest room you've been in or like, most opportunity or, what's just,
so this isn't like something more so me,
yeah.
but it was just an experience. Growing up in Chicago, a lot of these like R&B artists or like maybe like athletes and stuff, they come from Chicago. And to me, Chicago just like Mississippi almost. But my aunt is a model. Shout out to her. But when we were younger, she used to just take us to shoots with her or take us places with her. She's just one of those people that was always very busy, but she tried to multitask too, because why you babysitting? You gotta work,
Yeah.
So she just bring us to work with her. But one time we met R. Kelly and Rick Ross,
Wow.
but it was unintentionally. Well, I don't know if it was unintentional, but
Yeah.
we went to a birthday party with her, and it was kids there, which I'm not really sure what kind of party it was supposed to be.
Oh
but,
my God. Interview getting kind of.
But they took a picture with us, and they just moved on, like, whatever.
Yeah.
But to us, we know who y'all are.
We just took a picture
Mm-hmm.
with Rick Ross and R. Kelly
But see,
at a child's party.
but my aunt, she done been in the industry since she was a child.
Wow.
So she knows, well, I'm not gonna say she knows, but she done seen a lot of stuff that I probably haven't. So, what might be like starstruck to me or something amazing to
Yeah.
me, she probably don't give a fuck about.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, it's just that.
Yeah.
But then, like, even in, let's see, I don't think, well, you know what? I take this back. I was gonna say I don't think I know anything in the work world, but this lady, she was my manager one time. She got me my first job.
Uh-huh.
And at the time, I had a Dodge Ram. And anybody that know me, girl, I love that truck. I was in my white girl era. But something was wrong with the truck, and my stepdaddy was just refusing to fix it, I went way to Mobile one night at like 1 o'clock in the morning. just to get my mind clear, I would take these drives, but I would take chances too because the truck was kind of messing up at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, please. Her brother gave me $1,500. He didn't want the truck. He gave me $1,500 to put on another car. And he was like, this is my blessing from my family to you. His sister is who vouched for me, I guess you could say. And at the time, we weren't close, but we were close enough to know, I guess, like I was a good person, I guess you could say. And she basically called her brother, but I didn't know at the time.
Mm-hmm.
She sent me to her brother's shop, is what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I was under the impression he was just going to fix it. But how he presented it to me, he was like, I'll buy it from you. And I'm like, but I don't know. I don't have a vehicle, da da da. So then he gave me $1,500. He was like, you keep that truck and here's $1,500. He like, you could put it towards another car, which I did save the money, but I had to build up some more money for another car.
Mm-hmm.
Then me and my sister ended up buying a car together and we just shared it. And then I still kept the truck, but it ran for like another 2 years.
Yeah.
And then the motor locked up. But that was my fault.
Yeah.
But you know,
Yeah.
it's just small stuff like that. And then
Mm-hmm.
these are older white people, so I feel like that made a difference too because
Yeah.
you know sometimes people that would like us, they'd be like, why would they do that for you? Or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. So
Yeah.
but you know.
I understand. I mean, it's like crazy. Like, you know, it's crazy stuff right here. Before we run it out, describe a hustler.
I feel like a hustler is somebody they gonna get it regardless. Like to me, it's any kind of way. If it's doing something to benefit you, if it's bringing an income, and really, I ain't gonna say it don't have to be an income, but anything that can get you further than where you are,
Mm-hmm.
that's a hustler to me. So.
Exactly. And man, y'all heard it first. I mean, first tell the people where can we keep up with you, you know, your social medias.
Our Facebook, which I know y'all don't always use Facebook anymore, but my name is Taylor Exposed, and I have an Instagram, and it's Alexis. Snapchat's the same. So.
That's it. And y'all heard it first from Miss Taylor Arthur. Here, how the hustle started, and we out just like that.